In this month's tutorial, we're going to be looking at some classical guitar. This is my Alvarez Professional Series classical guitar. Fun fact, this was the first guitar that I purchased myself. It has a really cool story. I mowed lawns for a whole summer for this guitar. It was $649, and when you are in 5th grade, that is a shit ton of money. I believe that I told you guys on one of the previous videos with my guitar inventory about this guitar. It was the one that I had sold on Craigslist and ended up buying it back 3 years later from the guy that I sold it to. So you can pry this guitar from my cold dead hands. I love it. I just restrung it, hence the classical video, because I started off my guitar career and guitar journey started off with classical guitar. I owe a lot of the way that I play to classical guitar. So it's only fitting that we kind of go into a whole lesson about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to split up what you guys just heard probably in a couple videos. So in this month's video, we'll just focus on one part. Next month, we'll focus on a little bit more, and we'll dissect the heck out of it. You'll get to actually understand like what scales we're using, what chords we're using, technique. We're not going to use any pick. If you can see, I'll explain kind of how I like my nails to be, which, the pointer finger, I like it down to the stub. The pinky finger, it doesn't really matter, medium length. But then your middle and your ring, I like them real long. And that's great for classical. It's also great for the hybrid picking stuff. Then my thumb, I like for it to be pretty long. So, I'm always a little self-conscious whenever strangers on like an airplane look down at my right hand and they're like, what's going on with that dude's nails? But whatever. If it works, it works. So, I'm just going to retune real quick. Again, classical strings. They take a long time to break in. Long time to stretch out. The piece that you guys heard on the intro is something that I wrote a long time ago. It's in E minor. And just to start off, I'm in standard tuning. E, A, D, G, B, E. Beautiful. Good old standard. I love it. Actually, all my guitars sound better in standard tuning, which is kind of a shame that none of you will really hear them to their potential. But that's okay. Leave them wanting more. Okay, so this track that we're going to be focusing on the next couple months, it's a bit tricky, and classical may seem new to some of you. It is an E minor for the most part, ends up going to a B7, and then has some diminished 7 chords in it. That's pretty much it as far as the chords. It's just a quick, fun little piece. Kind of similar to Everest, but I wrote this way before Everest. It actually has some of the same chords that Everest does. Pretty cool. So it starts off, as you can see on your tab, for this first part. Again, we're not going to dive into everything you saw in the intro video. We're just going to focus on this part. I'll play it real slow. There's your B. And then an A, diminished 7. Back to B. Let's just focus on that, because there's a lot to unwrap there, and there's a lot that I want for you guys to practice to get to that point. So that first little bit basically it's just an E Aeolian scale. An Aeolian is a nice kind of Spanish classical scale that it's minor, but it's very romantic to me. I just love the scale, and it fits so well on a classical guitar. So I'm basically doing the E Aeolian scale in 3 different positions on that walk down. And I'm really only using the E and the B string. It's mainly the B string. But in order to get to that point, we need to know the Aeolian scale in those 3 positions. So let's start off with the first and the most basic, centered off the 12th fret. Check this out on the tab. Again. The next position is with your pinky on the 12th fret, and we're going to be playing off of that root and then kind of behind it. So check this one out on your tab. One more time. So let's play those 2 back to back. Beautiful. Beautiful scale. Okay, so now the next position is going to be, I'm just going to say that it's the 3rd version of this Aeolian scale. It's where the root is based on the A string on the 7th fret. So here's your E. Here we go. So that's going to be the most important one for you to know, because most of those notes on the B string center in that 7th fret root Aeolian scale. And then let's just throw in one more for good measure. Here's going to be the 4th one. This is the root on the 7th fret, but pinky finger, and we're going to play underneath it. Check that out again. So that one is sort of important once it gets down to this part. So let's back up. Now that we've ran those scales, again, practice those scales. Learn them to where you don't even have to look at the tab anymore, to where you can just be like this. Exactly like that. I want you guys to be as good at those scales as that. It's just going to make everything a lot easier moving forward. Let's play this lick one more time. Okay, so that's not exactly just walking the E Aeolian scale down, is it? What we're doing is kind of this repeating thing. It's playing the note, playing one down, going back to the previous note, and then going down 2, back to the 2nd note, down 2, back to the 3rd note, down 2, back to the 4th note, and so forth. Right there is where the formula actually changes. So 5, 7, 8, 5 on the high E, A7, 5, and then B7. That's actually a B7. Okay, now this first note, I'm actually playing the open E, and then I'm picking pointer, middle, ring finger on the G, B, and E strings. Just those. That's very, very Spanish sounding. Now it's important to note that I'm letting all of those ring out while I'm starting that walk down. Now I'm using my pointer finger a lot once I get to the B string. Watch. I'm pretty much just using my pointer finger, and it's kind of a stylistic tonal approach. I want it to sound, you know, kind of like da 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 da. I want it to sound choppy and very, very rapid. I don't want that part to sound super smooth. So my middle finger picks up on that 5th fret high E string. But I will say, however you guys want to play it is how you should do it, because you're going to find your own kind of stylistic tonal sounds by what fingers you choose to use. I'm just letting you know what I use. There's really no right or wrong way. If you want to rip it with, you know, both fingers, do it. By all means. It sounds awesome. I'm kind of starting off the lick slow and I'm speeding up as I go. Think of this lick like a bird landing. So it's way up in the air and it's deciding, hey, I think I'm going to land in the spot over there. So it starts off slow, eyes its approach, and then in the middle speeds up, gets really fast, and then right before landing slows down again. That's exactly what this is doing. Check this out. Kind of a fun way to look at it. So after that B7 that we land on, we're going to introduce an A diminished 7 chord. As you can see on your tab, pointer finger, 7th fret D string, middle finger, ring finger, 8th fret G string, middle finger on the 7th fret B string, and pinky finger 8th fret high E string. Now what's cool about these chords is you can run them up and down the neck, and they all kind of sound the same. I love them. But the reason why I chose that A diminished 7 is because it connects the B7 chord to the B major chord so well. So here's your B7, A diminished 7, into just a normal B major. Awesome. Super easy. I'm going to tune up real quick again. Okay, after that B major, as you can see on your tab, all we're doing is just doing the triad and then throwing the ring finger root under it. And then we're throwing in a scale that I use a lot and that hopefully you guys use a lot as well now. After some videos I've made, it is Mixolydian, which is a flat 7. So think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a flat 7. It's normally da da do re mi fa sol la ti do, but in Mixolydian it's do re mi fa sol la ti do. Flat 7. 7's normally here, but it's flat. Check your tab. I put the Mixolydian scale on there for you just for a refresh. So it's the same thing up here. Those 3 notes, it's B Mixolydian. And then we land on that low E string droning out, ring finger on the 9th fret G string. Let's check this out again. Alright, now I'm going to play that whole part slowly for you. That whole first half that we're just focusing on today. I'll play it real slow so you guys can just watch it from start to finish. Throwing a little vibrato as well. Horizontal vibrato. Again, that's A diminished 7 with 3 notes on that high E string on the 8th fret, B major, triad with the ring finger on the root on the 9th fret D string, Mixolydian scale starting with the pinky, there you go. Some fun classical guitar music and a lot of theory. For the next video, we will focus on the other part, which is definitely a lot harder. It runs those diminished chords up and down the scale pretty intensely. And there's an easy way to learn how to do that. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Cheers and say hi.